Welcome to my weekly video blog. I did in fact say that this week was going to be a getting to know me blog. An unorthodox one because I was going to focus on a theme. I've changed my mind. I'm not going to do it now, or rather I am going to do it, but the time is not right to do it yet. So maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe in a couple of months, I do not know, but there will be an update on that project. It is having a hiatus, it is not over. Now, before we continue, I want to send my congratulations to Dylan Massington, in fact. He took part in a tournament this weekend and won the whole thing, so well done to him. We do like winners, don't we? So this week I have had to put on hold most of what I had planned to do, and the reason for that lies in my teeth, my Toothy-peg. So my wisdom tooth, which is right at the back, on the top, is falling apart. And we've known this for, oh gosh, maybe a year, quite some time. And every so often, every sort of couple of months maybe, a little shard of tooth will fall out. Which is rather strange when it happens. But there has been no pain with it whatsoever. I went to my dentist on Monday for a round of fillings. The fillings were the top ones, and sadly they were sort of the top ones quite close to that tooth at the back. So I explained to her very succinctly that I was aware it was falling apart, that I didn't want her to touch it, I wanted her to leave it alone, because at present it wasn't hurting, and I had no intention of saving it. Wisdom teeth are pretty much pointless anyway for a start. They're too far back to really act properly as grinding molars anyway, and they have a tendency to be awkward, really, in terms of nerves and blood supplies and all that sort of rubbish. They are awkward teeth that if they cause a problem, they are better off out. The process is called an extraction. We have had extractions in the past. When I was young, I had 4 extractions in order to fit a proper a fixed brace for a very long time, and that fixed brace sort of closed up those gaps, if you like, so they're pretty much gone. But you will have noticed that even in the time we've had this camera, we had an extraction, and it was up there, and it was removed, and it solved the problem of our neuralgia that we had a couple of years back. Do you know, I am just so not interested in saving teeth at all. I do not see the point in doing a filling until it hurts. I'm sorry. I see no point in doing silly little fillings that are just going to drop out and you have to pay more money for them to be replaced. I am certainly not going to go into root canals or capping or crowning or whatever. Firstly, you know, I do have a high physical pain threshold, but the neuralgic pain of the jaw is possibly the worst pain you can ever have, and I don't wish to dwell on it. Neither do I have the money to afford, even on the NHS, those sort of things to save teeth. So when they are knackered, they come out. And part of me thinks, you know, I ought to go in there, I ought to pay a huge sum of money, get them to remove all my teeth, absolutely all of them, give me a pair of good falsies, and send me away. Because the amount of stress, the amount of pain, the amount of money is annoying. Really, really annoying. Anyway, so I had my fillings done and I came out, and I was a little bit annoyed to find that she'd completely ignored me and she had actually filled the wisdom tooth. That did annoy me. But not as much as the fact that when I closed my mouth it felt like I was biting on a tooth. The only way to explain it is that my teeth no longer fit together when I sort of closed my mouth. And the pain was on the wisdom tooth and on the tooth below as well, obviously, because those were the two that were sort of connecting but at the wrong angle, if that makes sense. I thought maybe it will settle down, so I didn't go to them on Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, obviously, I was at work. Wednesday morning, I was at work as well, because I do a late to an early. So the first time I got to see them was on Wednesday afternoon, and I went back in and I said, look, not on. I don't know what is wrong with it, but I need something doing. Because I had already booked in another appointment for my last round of fillings, which are supposed to be at the front, and that was not till June, and I was not going to wait that long because I was having trouble eating, and thankfully it wasn't bothering me sleeping, but it had awoken the sort of pain in my teeth that I know is now sensitised, and it's the start of the end, isn't it? Because this has now been hurting, and it will now hurt again, you know, relatively soon, whereas if she'd left it in the first place, I might have gotten away with it for a little bit longer. Anyway, they did do well. They booked me an appointment for Friday. I did have to take time off work for it, which was annoying, but there we are. I went in and they sorted it out, and it's okay now. The area is slightly sensitised, but that's just sort of the memory of it, rather than, you know, it's not getting any worse. So it's not you know, they shaved it down basically. The filling was there was too much height on it or something. It was a different woman, different dentist that did it, and thankfully they did not charge me because I was not about to pay any extra for that emergency appointment basically. But because of that, I was distracted all week with dealing with the pain of that, so I didn't manage to get as much done as I had hoped. The only thing really to say is that we did do well with the allotment. You know, it is in fact still April. We are still in the period where we could have frosts, but things have turned relatively nice now, so we are risking planting some early crops with the knowledge of we're using fleece and hoping for the best. So we've got beans and peas planted and carrots planted now, as well as our potatoes. Spring onions and the other onions are due to go in soon. So, you know, and I won again this last week on my scratch cards. I don't play the National Lottery anymore. I play two £1 scratch cards instead a week. I played the National Lottery all last year, under the guise that if I didn't win, my money was going to their good causes. So it was a bit of philanthropy, or that's the way I thought of it anyway. Didn't win a thing for the whole 52 weeks. This year I started on doing my scratch cards. Again, it's £2, but I do two £1 scratch cards. First of all, if you do win big, you can't win millions. You only win, you know, tens of thousands at most. So it's not an obscene amount of money. It's a usable amount of money that won't change your life, you know, beyond spending for a big holiday or something like that. Now, I find that I win a lot more on that. It's, what are we now? We're in April, so we've had a quarter, and look. £4. £4. That's a much better return than the National Lottery. So that's what I do now, and you know, there we are. There we are. I keep it in my jar. God knows what I'm going to do with it. Shall have to keep it in a bank now, probably, because some idiot is going to think, oh, he keeps money, I'm going to find out where he lives, break into his house and steal it. It's £4, children. It's £4. So let's go do the birthdays, and then we can all get on with our lives, can't we? not so many birthdays this week, only 4, but I would like to wish them all very many happy returns. We've got Bristol Morunday, Nick Watkinson, Sean Stanton and Diane Snap. So yes, have good ones, and I will see everybody else next week.